I don't feel like anyone's talking. They're blockers. That's not why I came to Hollywood.
You know how fucking backwards that is?
Shit.
I hate to break it to you.
What's up? It's Jamie Kennedy. You saw by the graphic, this is the Jamie Kennedy Show. It's the Jamie Kennedy Show. That's right. No, it's not the Duck Dynasty reboot. No, I did not move to the mountains. You know, CVS. This is my denial beard. I was supposed to start a movie April 3rd in Las Vegas, and the character has a beard. And every 2 weeks, the director would text me and say, we got 2 more weeks, we'll go. 2 more weeks are going to let us go. And so he's like, let it grow, let it grow. So it has been 12 weeks. And I am just going to let it grow. Because I'm in denial. And that's my way of doing this, because I know that the project's going to happen. Now, this is just a tester show, the Jamie Kennedy Show. You guys who know me know I have my podcast, Hate to Break It to You. I'm just going off the dome right now. It's our first one. And right now, besides the pandemic, besides earthquakes, besides the tornadoes, the most important thing that has been happening in the last 2 weeks has been murder, police brutality, racial inequality, protesting, looting, and all that. But I don't know how to describe all this. But the biggest thing is, I don't even want to say racial inequality. I want to say murder, you know? And my job, I don't know if I have one, is there's a lot of people posting. I figure I get so annoyed when I go to comedy clubs and when I do a show and I do a joke about another race or another gender or another, I don't know, something else, and people get offended. Like if I do a joke about deers and there's a bunch of llamas in the audience and the llamas are like, I don't know if the deers will like that. I say, yo, you're not a fucking deer, okay? Let the deers get offended. So that's the same for racial inequality. And white people, I think, when you do comedy, when you do jokes about other races and genders and such, white people, and then the gender or the race, maybe you're laughing at the joke, so it has to get approved. So I think in this time, during the protests, I think I see a lot of people and a lot of out there in the streets doing good stuff, but it would be the ultimate white privilege to speak for the black race. So, with my little platform, I'm going to bring you black voices, people of color voices, and let them tell you what's up. This is all about listening, not enough and too much talking. So no better voice to start with than my man, who's very quiet usually most of the time. He opens for me, I would say, about half of my time. I met him about a year and a half ago in DC. He's very funny, very smart. He is a young, up-and-coming comic. And I'd like you to welcome my buddy, Mychael.
Yo, what up, Jamie?
What up? This is all a test. Okay. But this is real. So first of all, thank you for doing this, dude, because you were falling asleep on me a lot.
Yeah,
every time I text you, dude, I'm up with you eating tacos and wings at 3 a.m. on the road, and then I text you at like 12. I'm like, yo, let's do this interview. You're like,
Quarantine life is different. We go to bed on time here now.
You do?
Yeah, I go to bed about 9 o'clock every night now. I'm living like a civilian.
And do what? And you go what? And then you get up early?
Get up early, work out. do some writing. Like I've evolved as a person. I don't even feel like a comic anymore.
Dude, you don't feel like you're a comic anymore?
No, not at all. I feel like a regular person. I'm getting good sleep, eating good. I lost about 25 pounds. Um, I
You
feel
do look
normal.
slim, dude.
Thank you,
You
thank you.
do look slim, dude. You dropped. Are you drinking?
Not drinking, not smoking. Since that weekend I
No
worked with you,
smoking?
I stopped. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you were. Oh, good. So are you sober again or off for a little while?
Sober, completely sober.
Wow. I've only done like CBD twice this whole thing. I haven't drank or anything, just to sleep. So, dude, I want to come to you because you heard my intro.
Hmm.
Um, do you agree with it? That people should just listen to what people of color want to say. I think that's the first thing we should start, by the way.
Yeah,
What
definitely.
do you like to be? What do you like to be referred as? Black dude, person of color.
Oh, a
People
black
need to
guy.
learn this stuff. The black guy, right? You
Yeah,
know, people get all butthurt by now. I mean, I'm a white dude, right? I mean,
right.
okay,
Yeah,
so
that doesn't bother me.
so black dude, so black
Right.
dude. You heard that from everybody, from Vonnie, everybody. Okay, so so just I'll start slow here because you are chill. You're under the radar. And the last couple days, I've seen you posting some stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, Von's getting his nose in the game here. So, and you were taking some shots fired today. So tell me the simplest thing of how do you feel?
Just about everything in general.
No,
It's
that was a terrible question. Over the last 2 weeks, I guess let me ask you this first question. Can I?
hmm.
So a couple of weeks ago, I did a thing for the LAPD Rampart Division where
Okay.
I saw a lot of cops with no masks. And I was like, yeah, right. And my sister works in Denver at the VA, and she didn't have the proper PPE. And we all heard about that in the beginning. So she was getting it. I was fortunate enough to get an N95. And I'm like, cops don't even have this. Some cops didn't even have masks. And I
Hmm.
heard that maybe it was because you have to see a cop's face or whatever. But since then, by the way, I see a lot of cops in masks, and I got pulled over the other day and got a ticket for tags, and all the cops had a mask. So I gave them some masks, and the cops were really appreciative of it. I know cops. I've worked with cops. I've done police athletic league benefits. I've done stuff with the
Hmm.
LAPD. Rampart is that division that was in training day. You know all about the backstory. Listen, that's an intense division. They've had some drama there. They've had some great busts there. They've had some, inside bad stuff there. My question to you is though, but I was a little testy now, like talking to the cops because I don't want the black community to think like I'm a traitor. So my first question to you
Yeah.
is, as somebody that I know and you know me, can I live in a world where I can appreciate cops and want cops and know that there are going to be some bad cops?
Hmm.
And can I also still support my black people?
Of course. You definitely do both. I think what we have to realize is that brutality is just the surface level of like really what the issue is in America. But for you per se, just because I mean, if somebody breaking your house, you're gonna have to call a cop anyway. So we definitely still need cops at the end of the day. Um,
And you want that
Now,
too. You want to call a cop too, right?
right, exactly.
Okay, thank
Now
you.
I think the issue is for the black community is like you saw like with Drew Brees, how it's kind of like you don't acknowledge that there's an issue. It's kind of
Now
just
take me through that. I'm not going to try to interrupt you. Take me through that because I saw that and I was like, I didn't really follow, but I know he pissed off a lot of people. And then I saw you comment, and you're usually like, you don't get involved. So the fact that you're taking these stances is awesome. So tell me exactly what happened.
Drew Brees had an interview with Yahoo. So we're all familiar with Colin Kaepernick, who was kneeling during the national anthem in the NFL. He ended up getting blackballed by the NFL and he lost his job. Drew Brees, during this interview that just happened recently with Yahoo, was telling them that he's against anyone that disrespects the flag, and he's not for kneeling for the national anthem at all. And the reason was because his grandfather served in the military. Um, Now he stated that, but he never stated, he understood that there's black issues going on, police brutality, or the reason why people were kneeling, and that's where the frustration came from the black community. Mostly because Drew Brees works with black people pretty much all his life playing football, and it's just like, bro, like you should, feel some type of compassion for black people if you've been working with us. Like 70% of the NFL is black, and all you care about is that your grandfather
70?
served. Yeah, about
I thought it was
70%
like
of the NFL is
90.
black.
I thought 90, bro. Come on, man.
um, I think the NBA about 90%. I want to say NFL
90.
about 7.
Yeah. A couple of Jason Nash is still Steve Nash is still sneaking in, but so go ahead. So what?
So yeah, the issue with Drew Brees is that what we have now with the with black people in general is either you with us or against us. There's no in between. So we want you to, just like you see with the LGBTQ community. When I'm in DC, you see certain stores, they'll have the flag letting you know that they support LGBTQ community. So with black community, we want people now to let it be known that you support the black community. Because when you don't say anything at all, that hurts us, and it makes it okay for racist people to do things against us.
So white silence equals violence.
Correct. Because you have
Yeah.
to make it uncomfortable. What we have to do is, and this is why we need white people in the movement, is that we have to make being racist not part of our culture anymore. We have to make it uncool. You have to feel uncomfortable to be racist, and once people feel that uncomfortable, then that's when we would start to eliminate that racism.
Okay. I got 2 points, Dave. Remember if I forget these. So yeah. So Drew Brees is in New Orleans, and you know
Hmm.
what's up down there. That is, I think New Orleans is everybody, but I would say it definitely has a more black feel. Although New Orleans has its own thing. Would you agree with that?
You're right. Yeah, New
And
Orleans. That's black people in New Orleans.
it is, but even the white people and the black people together form New Orleans in a
Right.
dope way, I think. And
Right. Right.
so Drew's done a lot for the community. Obviously, the statement was was just weird because, dude, I don't understand this. It's not about the fucking flag,
Right.
okay? And let's say it is about the flag. Who the fuck are you offending? Betsy
Right.
Ross? The cloth? The fucking stars that are fucking sewn on the flag is a fucking symbol.
Right.
Okay? Colin Kaepernick straight up set a precedent, had a $118 million contract, and goes, yo, I'm good. And he put it all on the line. Like I don't see in my lifetime, maybe Muhammad Ali. I mean, Colin Kaepernick really is a dude. I mean, come on, man. He is
He risked it
incredible.
all.
Now,
Yeah.
110%, he was completely blackballed, no pun intended, like you said. And because if you look, because all of a sudden when he started kneeling, people are like, well, his knee was off, his throwing mechanic, all the, right? They were
Yeah.
like, yo, his shit. I'm like, you seen some of the fucking bums starting. He can't get a backup? He can't get a third string? No. 100%. So what you said earlier is the deeper systematic, deeper, like, the flowers over here of racism. This is deep within the roots, right? This might even be even in the fucking like seed of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking supporting the NFL. Now, it's, again, for me, it's not for me to say to take food off the table, but and I believe it's more than 70%. I believe it's like 90%.
Mm-hmm.
NFL is black, and it's a black. It is a black work league. I wouldn't say it's a black owned league at all, right? And it's
Oh,
not really
not
a
at
black
all.
run league. It's black people in some jobs, but not of the super owner powers, right? But
Right.
they say they're working on that. So would you say that the NFL? Now I'm going to get to I'm going to get to his apology, and I'm going to get to what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that? See, I don't want to take food off of people's thing, but that the NFL was completely racist. Would you say that?
Absolutely. I personally don't
Now,
watch
how
the
do you? Okay,
NFL.
so
Go
you
ahead.
saying that? How do you tell your black brothers
Mm-hmm.
don't play in it? Because they got support, right? But I need to hear that. What do you think about it?
So I think it's too late for the people that already play. Personally, myself, I don't watch the NFL at all. I'm more of an NBA person because the NBA embraces black culture. When you watch the
Mm-hmm.
NBA, like it's hip hop, like you feel like you're at a black event. With the NFL, black people we make up most of the league, but it still feels like a southern kind of good old boy type of vibe to it. Now, if, as far as support, I tell people don't watch the NFL, don't support it at all. I think black people should stop really playing football and focus more on basketball or playing soccer or something or track and field.
Wow. See, dude, you got these stealthy things, dude. That's why I love you, man. Because you are so quiet, but you always drop a gem in there. First of all, that's as ballsy as fuck. It'll be interesting to see how black people react to that statement. You totally make sense. But what you just said is I'd never heard before. Oh God, it's so interesting. This is why white people, you gotta ask a black man. That's what this segment should be called. You
But
said
I do
if
want to say that one thing:
wait, I gotta
don't
ask
ask
you.
any
Go
black
ahead. Wait.
man. Don't ask Terry Crews.
Whoa, I gotta ask you about that too.
Okay.
So wait, I gotta ask you about that. So, uh, you said, and I totally agree with you. The NBA, we'll get to that, but the NFL is. You said you feel like it's a Southern old white boys club. The
Right.
way it's run. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
I've never heard that, dude, and that totally makes sense. Because if you look at them Gators and Gamecocks, the Razorback, all that shit, come on now, right? Like you see that fucking back swamp shit. They take that shit seriously. I mean, you work with me in Florida, but we didn't go deep in the swamp. But I mean, that's what the swamp is. Them dudes, and the
Yeah.
football. But what's interesting is because how I like you might react very different than that than me, and I'm sure you will. And what's interesting is what you said is I had a thing on this with Odell Beckham. So Odell Beckham is the physical embodiment of what you're saying. So to me, he should be the face of the NFL. Okay, so when I watch OBJ, did we just lose Vaughn or no?
No,
You
I'm
there?
saying.
When we lose, oh, okay. When I watch OBJ, remember when he went in, he caught a touchdown, and then he lifted his leg and he like pretend he was peeing like a dog. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the corny ass NFL no fun league fined him like $25,000, and he was trending. Every kid's like psst, all that shit. Okay, so what's fucking fascinating is that's what I want. I mean, here's a guy that is a freak in nature, a super athlete, made like a ballerina circus Soleil type of catch,
Hmm.
got mad swagger, crazy ability, crazy attitude, gives zero fucks, great looking dude, likes to party. That's my guy. Like, that's what I want. Like, I want to aspire. I'm buying his jerseys. I'm buying his cleats. I'm buying his shit. He's from LSU. Like, that's
Right.
why I got into rap music, because I lived close enough to the city. And when I got my first tape at 12 years old, and people were like, yo, check this out. This is Run DMC. I'm like, what the hell is that? It always made me feel cool. So
Hmm.
he is the embodiment of like a rap mixtape. Like, it was
Right.
dope. And so what you just said is true. And the first person I really saw in the NBA, I'm not saying there wasn't before them, who probably really was like that, and I totally agree with you in the NBA, was and I didn't really know the culture of where he came from until I started going down to Virginia Beach in Virginia, was Iverson.
Oh yeah.
Because there's other dudes like Barkley and Dr. J and Moses and all this stuff, but AI to me is a real dude, right? I mean, he's like the
He
embodiment.
changed the
He
culture.
changed 100%, right? I mean, I never saw tats like that on an athlete. Cornrows, you see him a little bit, but he came in, and my mom was watching. My mom's like, "Wow, he's got a lot of cats," and he got her on board. I mean, but AI went mainstream. You agree?
Yeah, I love AI. AI, he changed everything. Even basketball players now, you see all of them have a piece of AI. Everybody has tattoos
Mm.
now because of AI. Um, yeah, I'm a big fan of AI. I have my hair is long because of AI. I have tattoos because of AI.
So you're not far from where AI was from, right? So I mean, because
I'm
you would
about
know
30
his
minutes
that
away.
culture. So then, yeah. So AI would represent where you're from, like Newport News and all that.
Hmm.
You, Pharrell. I mean, it was black culture, but that's a different black culture. That's different than West Coast black culture, right? Or New York black culture, right? I mean, that was like Virginia, that area of black culture. Do you agree?
Right, right. We're way different, and because Virginia has a lot of great athletes. Because Michael Vick is from Virginia as well, so it's like we produce some of the best athletes in the country.
The NBA is black culture, and I've gone to multiple All-Star weekends. I've hosted events. I've also just been there as a viewer, and it is black culture. The parties, and I so believe you're right. And I don't know the NFL. So the NFL ain't as, how can I say, it's not as dope. Is that right to
Yeah,
say?
it's they need to embrace it. I think that they don't realize they probably could make more money if they embrace the black culture because embrace it with hip hop. Everybody loves black culture, so I just don't understand. It's like they're trying to hold on to a legacy that's no longer there.
I know, bro. I know. Now let me ask you this: what do you think about Breeze's apology, and what do you think about Goodall's apology?
Breeze, I'm glad that he came back and he made an apology. That's after people spoke with him about that. I can respect that. Roger Goodell, on the other hand, uh, we're in a time now. It's very weird, bro. Like I feel like some people are taking advantage of this right now. Like I saw a picture of Mitt Romney at the Black Lives Matter taking a selfie, and it feels like it feels like a lot of people are just want to
Hey
be
there.
documented as
Hey.
they're saying the right thing.
Yo, bro. That is so fucking facts. Yo, I know, dude. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm trying to sit back and assess the situation and say the right thing, because if they say don't say shit, then what, are you compliant? And if you say too much, are you virtue signaling? Then over here, but listen, there's no doubt that fucking there's definitely some people out here doing that shit for the gram. You agree with that?
Yes, it is. It's sickening. It's kind of like on one hand, I'm kind of like okay, like I'll take any exposure that we can get possibly. The more people that's putting it out there, that's good. But on the other hand, it's like, can you live with that? Like, are you gonna look back and really be able to live with that years from now? Like that doesn't bother you at all?
Bro. Well, yesterday, I mean, Hollywood had its biggest protest I ever saw. It was
Hmm.
all the way from La Brea past Vine. And as incredible as that was, I just thought, do all those people get together and form one huge germ that travels more than 6 feet? I mean, sorry, there was so many people, but it was, but it, I mean, dude, there was fucking so many people. Does that become a super germ? Right?
So
So,
you
but look,
the coronavirus.
oh yeah, dude, all of a sudden everybody's like fucking making out and shit. I'm like, yo, dude, these people were like this, like, yo, what's up, Black Lives Matter? Like, literally, I'm like, yo, Black Lives Matter, but 6 feet away, they matter, like, I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. I
You
also
gotta put that in
noticed
your
what you're
act.
saying. I mean, dude, probably get canceled, but like, there are there are definitely people like white people out there that go to one march and then now like, king of the black people, I did it, like there's definitely, you see that, right?
Yes, it's
Well,
sickening. It's very sickening.
well, yeah, I I will say though, in my life, 50 years, and you tell me, how old are you 30 yet?
28.
Okay, I've never seen this much support for the black community worldwide in terms of like, it's time to end this shit. Have you ever? I don't think I've ever seen this much. It's worldwide. Do
Nah,
you agree with that or no?
because I was talking to my dad actually about it, and what was it back in the 80s? Um,
Mm-hmm.
he was comparing it to that, and he was like, it wasn't as huge as this. So it feels like we're in a time that this is a movement, and that's what I'm afraid of. People are trying to be a part of this movement, even though they might not necessarily support the movement.
Yo, they're looting the movement. You agree with that?
Correct.
So I agree with you. That's why I want to talk to you and people like you, because it's like you got to say your piece, and that's and there are, you saw some of the stories with the Instagrammers, you know, um, taking a picture. It is sickening. It is weird. Um, and I don't know what to say about that. You're right. I did notice that, bro, even more yesterday. Like, there was so many people in Hollywood, and it was beautiful. It was, but I mean, you can't control it, but you definitely see some stuff like that. It's hard for me to understand the experience. That's why I like to ask you and other people,
Okay.
because you know it would be ignorant for me to speak, like, unless, because I'm not black, even though I love black culture and all that stuff. But the greatest meme is, I wish they love black people like they love black culture. I mean, that was the deepest meme I've seen through this whole thing, and it's so true. And that's kind of what Malibu's was about a guy who really loves black culture, but he doesn't
Hmm.
understand all the pain that comes with it. And that's what white people do, you know what I mean? And they don't understand that, because they, just by being like this, you don't get the bad parts, and
Right.
so, and that's what white people really don't understand. I mean, not all of them, but some of them. So I had a guy following me. Go ahead, you tell it. You could
So
put
there
you
was
could
a
put
guy.
his
Yeah.
name out there.
I'm not gonna do that, but it was a
All right. Well,
film
I had a
guy,
dude filming me who was a nice dude. Go ahead. What
and
boy?
we're in the car. We're on a back coming back from a gig, and they're like, I was asleep, and it's weird. It's just like whenever a white person uses the N word, it just wakes me up, and like the Biggie lyric, the Biggie lyric came
It's
on,
literally
and
off
he
a
just
joke. It's like the joke I do without him not even knowing he's doing the joke that he's not supposed to do. It's like, right? It was like a lot going on in there.
yeah, and it was just like, and the part that made me the most upset
So
about it
tell him the story. So it was a
wasn't,
kid that was filming me. A kid that was
yeah,
filming me is a white kid, went to USC, a little bit of a crackhead, whatever, hippie, and he's all about free love. And we're driving somewhere from fucking Michigan to Indiana, and I don't think about it, but I guess the good thing about my show is it's kind of like Benetton. It was me, you, and Jason, who's the middler, who's Korean, but whatever. I just work with people that are easy to get along with, that are hilarious, and that's it. The fact that we all check box, you guys check boxes, whatever, it's great. But so no one, so we're just all chilling, right? Not thinking about that type of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
Dum Dum, who was filming me, is singing Biggie. Okay, and literally, if you don't know, now you know. Hmm. Says it at like 3 a.m. We're on a fucking highway with Vaughn, and Vaughn's asleep. Vaughn's like, what? What? Like the alarm clock, the N-word alarm clock got him up. He's like, what? What's up? What's up? It's fucking, and then he, Dum Dum, was like, what's up? Says it, it's like sings it again. And I like had to like stop, do an intervention, kind of stop the car, be like, yo, you don't do that. What the fuck you doing? And then he went in those whole hippie free love thing. No, I don't mean, man, I'm just singing the song. And what was your take at that moment?
My take was that was privilege right there. That was it really
Interesting.
upset me that he was trying to defend the use of the word. And I haven't looked at his
He
Instagram. I
was.
hope I want when people that defend they should use the word. I hope he should be in the front line at the Black Lives Matter rally right now. So that's my my biggest take on that. But it was a culture shock because where I come from, white people don't use that word. So for him to tell me that he was telling me that it's okay now, and it's just like I was appalled. I was like, hold on, like this is information I haven't heard of. Like I had to call the black people and just try to figure out like is this right?
Bro, 22, grew up in LA, went to USC. So if you think it's only him, imagine, right?
Right.
And he thinks he's singing a song. And it's like, yo, dude. And I don't even know if he really got it when you talk to him. Because you kind of really let him off the hook.
Yeah, I was at work, and for me it was just kind of like just wanted to get it done, be professional.
But you're right. And that was weird. Now, did you hate him anymore after that? Or you were just like, he's an idiot?
I didn't hate him, but it
Total
was just kind
privilege.
of
His privilege in defending it was insane. He totally
yeah.
thought he could. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Didn't hate him, but my respect level definitely went down because it was. I looked at him more as a kid at that point. It was just like he doesn't get it. It was we on two different levels.
Yeah, I agree with you. He didn't understand the history with the word.
Right.
Um, and yeah, that was a very uncomfortable moment. And thank you for being chill with that. Um, he doesn't work with me anymore. So dude, you shots fired today at Terry Crews. Do you know exactly what he said? Because today you posted something. What happened?
So he put out a tweet essentially. I can't quote it because I don't have the tweet in front of me.
Oh, hold on a second. Something about black supremacy. Black supremacy. Defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy. Equality is the truth. Like it or not, we're all in this together. That's what he said.
Right. The issue with Terry Crews' statement is that I don't agree with it for the first thing, and it just to me it sounds like he was endorsed by All Lives Matter. Now
Wait, do you
I
want to explain to
really
people why all lives? Do you want to explain to people why all lives matter is a re thing to say? Can I say that? It's not a
yeah it's a problem.
is a dumb thing to say. Can you explain that to
It's
people? I know why, but
So All Lives Matter
I'll
was
let you do it.
created when Black Lives Matter was created. It was to go against Black Lives Matter. People, we were saying Black Lives Matter, then you had these group of people saying no, all lives matter. And the issue with that is that we're not Black people are not saying that no other lives matter, but we're focusing right now on Black Lives Matter. Like you can't go up to a cancer rally and just be like, "What about Lyme disease?" And like the biggest issue is about all lives matter is my biggest issue is if all lives really matter, where were you at during slavery? Where were you at during civil rights? Right? Like why are you just created right now against Black Lives Matter? So with Terry Crews' statement, it sounded like something that all lives matter would say. Because right now with black people, we're not trying to. We're not saying we know that we need white people help in order for this to happen. But it was just like his timing. Like he's he's done things like this before and said things like this before. It's just he had bad timing. And what I think the real issue is that sometimes we treat celebrities, we put them on a pedestal, and just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean necessarily that your voice should be heard.
Bro, you should be more silenced if you're a celebrity. Let's be real, bro. I don't want to get my fucking political news from fucking Katy Perry. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I just want you to sing, firework. You know what I mean? I'm all good with that. Like, yeah, dude. That's the problem with platforms. Just because people have a lot doesn't mean they know a lot. And I'm not gonna put people on blast, but there's a couple that I would really, yeah. That's why I'm trying to not say certain shit because people celebrity is like just because you're famous or whatever, don't mean you have it. But let me read again what he said.
Hmm.
Defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy. Equality is the truth. Like it or not, we're all in this together. So, first you have to say to yourself on that statement, well, is there white supremacy? I mean, I would say so. I mean, how would you
Correct.
say? A lot of movies that I have been in, it was only like one or two black people sometimes. It wasn't just where's the best actor.
Right.
And I believe, and listen, I've loved all the movies I've done. I'm just saying though, if you look at stuff from your perspective, I bet you watched a lot of movies and there wasn't enough people that look like you. Would you say that or
Oh
no?
yeah. Majority of my life, yeah.
And so that where I would say white supremacy is, it's in advertisements, it's in it's not as much as in sports. You always see people that look like you. Would you agree with that statement?
Correct.
But in terms of being able to call shots, own shit, making moves, Wall Street and such, you would
Church.
say white, yeah, church.
Yeah. Even with
Oh, the
white
Pope.
Jesus.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. I mean, but when I think of church, though, too, I also think black people have a robust church thing. But you're right, the God, you're right, it's totally white, and he's like a super like Jared Leto like Jesus. You know what I mean? I mean, he's not. You're right. I mean, he's not. He ain't black. So you're right. I never see any black angels.
Mm-mm.
Um. So okay. So Terry said, "Hold on, damn it, I'm looking for the quote again." So white supremacy, white people creates black supremacy. So look, he's trying to be kumbaya and saying, "Listen, we're all in this together," which I would say is a good thing, right? Would you agree with that? That we all in this together?
Yeah. But it's
But
not. That's not the focus
basically,
right now.
no, and it's like, yo, we can all be in this together, but it's like, yo, there's like 85%, and then the rest is left for us at 15%, whatever, and there's like 60% are black or whatever the number is, meaning that you're basically saying, yo, Terry, we can all be equal, but let's get equal first
Right.
before we start saying we're equal, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, yeah, I can see your point, man. Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I
You're
really
right.
think that social media. What I'm learning is that it's going to either make coming down the road, people are going to have to be either better people or they're going to have to hide their opinions more, because
I
social
know.
media is really exposing who you are. All your insecurities, your racism, it's out there, and you can't hide it for long with social media. So it comes down, either you got to get a good PR team that posts for you, or you got to actually become a better person, which might be a good thing.
I know, but bro, you're so right. I mean, but you see, you're like a dude, like you'll forgive people and you'll give them another shot. Like you gave Dum Dum, you didn't cancel him. You said, okay, dumb, I lost respect for you. Get in the front fucking lines, risk getting that COVID cough, and get out there for my people and fucking make some shit. All right?
Right.
Because you got a strike against you. So that's cool. You know, he better do that and not just do it for the gram and show you that. But the fact that you're giving him a shot is already head and shoulders above most people because most people are like canceled, done, whatever. So that's one thing we have to do is not cancel people.
But we have to
But
understand that
go ahead.
people change. You got to grow. Like Malcolm X, Malcolm X won't always Malcolm X. Like he was a criminal before he became Malcolm X. So that's one of the
Yeah.
problems with the cancel culture. We got to give people time to actually become a better person. Like you're not going to start off as a good person right away. You got to learn from your mistakes.
Bro, you read Malcolm X book, right?
Yeah,
So he changed his belief system overnight.
correct.
That's what like the theory of life. When people always say, "I can't," I try. That's why I'm like, no, 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 you don't fucking try. Okay, you fucking do. Like Malcolm X, it was either he became a zealous Muslim overnight, or no, he didn't like white people, and he thought white people were the devil. And then he said in jail, it's in his book. I don't know the specific, but overnight it all left him because he got
Hmm.
clarity.
Right.
Do you remember that part of the book? So I mean,
Yeah.
and he said it was gone.
Right.
I think it was something to do with
Solitude will change you.
Muhammad. Yeah, and so was it Elijah Muhammad? I think it was something like that. He did
Correct.
something that he didn't think was righteous. But again,
Right.
exactly. But he was like who he was. When he believed it, he did it, and when he didn't, he didn't. He was no
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah, and that's why I think we really got to get rid of cancel culture because people, you have to grow. How are you going to grow if you don't learn from your mistakes?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to like do these things and talk because that's what I think the world doesn't have right now. I mean, it does in the good podcast, but
Hmm.
it's true. People are just canceling people, and bro, because you know you're a comedian, okay? You know, you wear multiple hats. You're a black man. I mean, that is a hat, right? Because you have to. There's
Right.
stuff that comes with that, and there's stuff that comes with a comedian, and it's like you don't even want to see cancel culture.
Right. I mean, I know I'm gonna get canceled one day, so I'm just kind of like,
How, bro? Bro, come on, man. You
because
gotta get them
I've
dreads
just
tighter. Why?
I've decided that I'm not going to let fear control me. Because when you let fear control
Yeah.
you, that's when you become less confident. And I will attack fear all day. So I'm not going to be afraid no more to actually say how I feel and how I speak. And then, I mean, if I going to learn from it, and then that's when I'll become a better person. But I just can't let fear control me.
Yeah, dude, I noticed that in your last couple posts. You're kind of like, you're getting in there. You're mixing it up a little bit. Before, you would just be like, you're going to do your thing and over here and just entertain. But now you're like, fuck it. Would you say the COVID did that? Or would you say the last 2 weeks did that with, all the protests?
I would say the quarantine, COVID quarantine, mostly because it's time to have solitude to yourself. And what I realized is the difference between a headliner that headlines clubs and theaters and somebody who's a road comic that you'd never heard their name before. And mostly it's because they don't speak their mind or say things that they might be afraid to say. The guys that you never heard a name from, they're going to say things that are safe. And when you play safe, you're going to be on that smaller level.
It's true, bro. You're so right. I mean, listen, it's like I just did my special, man, and I feel that like it was good. It's funny, and people have been really liking it. And people talk about, man, you're so self-depreciating and stuff. And they're like, why'd you get the title Stupid Smart? And I said, well, it's kind of like a play on words because people kind of think of me as my MO, as like I'm a little goofy and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And the second half of the special, I get into more smarter stuff, and my next special will be more smart, and that's like attacking what you're saying. Is because that's I think our job. I don't want to say now more than ever because Richard Pryor's clips, if you've been watching them this week, are so relevant. Unfortunately, 46 years later, um, like, and also Dick Gregory, but also George
Yeah.
Carlin, Bill Hicks. So I mean, people before us were always saying shit, 40, 50 years ahead. So comedy is so needed, but it was just needed as well back then. But I do feel that, yeah, man, you got to take a stance. And it was like, I learned that myself just in terms of like just doing this. Like, I want to express myself. I want to talk to people like you. And it's like, it really doesn't behoove me in a way to do this because I'll probably say something that'll fucking get me canceled, just like you said. But it's like, we got to do it because we got to express ourselves. And you're right. If you want to be relevant and in this game, you got to fucking put yourself on the line. And it's not like we did anything crazy tonight, but you did. You said some stuff that you stand behind. And I think that's what the new world's going to be. Don't you think, like, with comedy afterwards, it's going to be less? I mean, there's always going to be room for escapism, but that's what I'm kind
Right.
of growing from, trying to be less of escapism, and get into that realm of educating. And that's where you can't be a, what do you call it though? You can't be like a pontificator because you know how audiences get turned off on that shit. But that's why
Right.
you draw them in and then try to convince them. But do you feel like comedy is going to be even more like that? What do you think?
I,
I
well, I
think you're
think
right.
the way comedy's going to go now is the way you're going to be able to stick out is if you're that person that gives that strong point of view. But the thing is, this is what we run into, like, why so many people get canceled. You can't just have a strong point of view and not actually sat and thought about what you're saying. Like, it actually has to make sense. Like, something that you said yesterday made me think about something that I think that everybody's going through right now. You said it was a weird time to do comedy, and I wanted to ask you that because were you saying that as like in fear of, like, we shouldn't be doing that because of everything that's going on right now?
I'll try to give you the medium answer without going too long. But there's such a well, it's a weird time because, like, for example, so all of last week when all of the chaos was happening on top of the other chaos, I was the week that I was promoting my special. And
Right.
dude, I did a shitload of press. I couldn't be more happy with it. Like, podcasts, articles, radio, Zooms, all that stuff. And it was weird because of what was going on. And
Hmm.
so you had to compartmentalize. I mean, you saw, like, once, like, kind of last Saturday hit, all social media was off. Like, yo, not only do you, if you only post, you only posted about what was going on, and that was it. If you posted, and you had to post the right way. So everything you're saying comes back to what you're saying with this. With, like, there's a thing here that what you just said is why I think it's weird because to talk about what we're talking about right now, let's just say Black Lives Matter, you know, police brutality and all that stuff, is that it doesn't. You can't do it in 8 minutes. Okay, so when you
Exactly.
call in, you do a radio show, morning drive radio, which is 7 a.m. and people are on their way to work and their stupid job and their stupid car and they're gonna meet Bill from accounting and his stupid fax machine and a cup of Folgers coffee and all that shit. They want to hear fucking zippity doo, bucket boo 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 boo. And so I did 10 interviews and, like, all the podcasts, they said if they addressed it, we talked about it, it was good to go. Other podcasts, if they didn't want to address it, then they knew you got to hold that content and wait for the appropriate time because it would be it would be insensitive to put that shit out in the middle of all this. Do you agree with that?
Um, I'm in a weird. As far as promoting, yes, I think that was a weird time. But just the
But let me
content in
finish this
general.
thought.
Okay.
But let me finish the thought. So with all this stuff happening, so radio DJs were asking me, just some promoting it, and I was just straight promoting it, like five of them, and like we got into it a little bit and we were able to touch on it, which was uncomfortable because I'm like, we only have 8 minutes here. Do you really want to go deep into systematic racism? And it's like, I'm white, you're white. What can we really say? We need a black person to talk about it. So it's a little hard to talk about on morning Zip Zoo radio. But then like 4 other stations didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, yo, you don't even want to address it. And they're like, no, let's just. And that's when I realized how much of a bigger problem this is. I mean, I already knew it, but like, that's systematic right there, that you don't want to fuck with your listeners' ears and ruin their drive time radio to talk about atrocities going in the world. I'm sorry, Julie from fucking, the break room. You don't want to hear about that. So that's all that comes back to what you're saying is it's weird to do comedy now because that's why we have these problems because people escape too much. They
Right.
run too much to reality TV. When Black Lives Matter was trending, so was Kylie Jenner's net worth. Okay, she's not a billionaire. She's got 900 million. Who gives a fuck? Congratulations,
Right.
it's incredible. That's still incredible. Why was that a top 20 trend when all this was going
Right.
on? So my thing is, it takes away from the movement and from all of these things if you do provide too much escapism.
I've never looked at it from that perspective right there.
Well, bro, like from COVID, yo, escape all you want. Tornadoes,
Mhm.
escape all you want. Earthquakes, escape all you want. They tell us we have aliens, escape all you want. Racial inequality, we're all trying to be equal, shouldn't escape. That's a problem we got to address. The other shit is kind of out of our hands. COVID is like a wait and see, right?
Right.
Tornadoes, you buckle in. So yeah, I'm all about it, but just not doing that. So that's interesting. All right, so you saw a different take on that there.
Yeah, because I was really thinking that because when I look through my feed right now, I get depressed, and I was thinking it might be a good thing that you were putting out content um, to give people a relief, of what's going on. But you you made a great point. You made me think. Now I got to go sit down in my room and really think about what you said.
Dude, but check this out. Well, it's like Kareem Abdul said last week. Look at his piece in the LA Times. He
Okay.
said, because a lot of people were getting mad about the rioting and the looting, right? Okay, let's just say the looting is much different than the rioting. The rioting is different.
Right.
Okay. The looting, people were going in and straight jacking the cars again. You agree with that?
Correct.
And there was also some groups in there trying to fuck shit up, as you know, breaking windows and all this. You saw that shit. They even saw a cop
Right.
car in LA. They said it was a fake cop car from like somebody brought in and lit the shit on fire. There's a great video about it. So there was definitely people trying to cause black and white to fight. I'm not saying it's not already
Right.
there, but you agree with that, right?
Right.
Think about this, the protest and the unrest of your emotions. People, when they want to escape, that means they don't want to deal, i.e., run to the bottle, run to the joint, run to the strip club, whatever they want to run to the video game, run to Jamie Kennedy special, which I hope you do. But it could, at this moment, we should have unrest in our emotions if we want the shit to change.
And deal with
That's my
it. Yeah, I
opinion.
got you. It's a solid
And
point.
I will say, man, you like that point. Thank you.
Mhm.
I will say, you tell me, but the cops went from like third degree, one cop, to like, I think second degree. They're still not there. It's going to be first degree, but all cops being arrested. That, I believe, was actually done by the physical inertia of the marching and the energy. I do believe that the actual people doing caused that change. So I do believe these things are causing change. Do you think that too?
Right. Yeah, it's working, and the fact that all 50 states protested and it's like across the whole world, it's putting pressure on people to change, and I do believe it is because of the protests. And even though it seems like with Donald Trump, he's saying one thing, it's like I don't think he's gonna be in office too much longer, but you're gonna see a lot of changes coming pretty soon.
It'll be interesting, bro. I don't know. There's a lot of Trumpies out there, but you're right.
Yeah, no,
Because I mean, I don't want to get political, but dude, who I don't, do you like Biden?
no, but he's the best of the two.
Dude, dude talks like fucking look at he's like dude, the dude's got fucking a brain fart all the time. I mean, the dude's come on, man. He come on, dude. He's like your loopy uncle. Hey, that's your girlfriend. Come over here. Let me see it. Hey, come here. I mean, you ever see that video of him sniffing people and shit? Come on, dude.
But look,
I mean, I
I'm
think
gonna tell you, uh, he's
they
funny.
fucked up. We fucked up. Andrew Yang was a good dude. We fucked up. Go ahead.
He was a good dude, and and I'll say this: when Trump became president, I thought it was a joke. I was laughing. I'm like, he's doing stuff that was funny. Then we got to this quarantine, and a hundred
No,
thousand people died, and it wasn't
yeah,
funny anymore.
no,
It's like, no,
no. See, because you and me, see, that's where we are. You, me, and I know a lot of other comedians that comedian blood that's running through us looks at Trump and we laugh a lot. Trump is a
right,
funny motherfucker and he makes me laugh. And that's why you may forgive him for a lot of shit because he's funny, right? You're just laughing at him. He disarms you, right? I mean, but people that don't get him don't get it. But he's fucking
right.
funny. He says some shit, Lysol, inject it. We try that, inject that in their veins. But you're right. Now it's like come to Jesus time and people are fucking dropping, and he's like, I had, I kept it under 200,000. I mean, he doesn't take, responsibility for anything.
Yeah,
But that's a whole other. I think all politicians are part of the puppet game, but that's a whole other thing. But yo, this was a good talk, dude, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. I don't know when we're going to be out on the road again. It was cool doing that show with you yesterday. We did a little Zoom at the Comedy Loft.
yeah, it was fun. I'm
Um,
actually June 19th and 20th. I just got a date for Greensboro, North Carolina. So I should be
I
back on the
love that
road
club.
next weekend.
You're going in.
Yeah,
You middling, headlining what?
Middling.
Who's headlining?
Um, I have to look at the email. It's
All right.
local guy.
That's the Comedy Zone. Tell your dates and tell all your socials.
June 19th to the June 20th, I'll be at the Greensboro, North Carolina Comedy Zone. Go check me out. We got shows 8 o'clock and 10 p.m. both nights. I'm on all social media platforms at Von Mychael. Make sure you add me. And I have a quarantine comedy special that just released, which is on iTunes, Spotify, all streaming platforms. Make sure you download and listen to that.
That's the one you filmed on. You filmed in Sarasota. he, he filmed that shit in front of me without me even knowing. You filmed that shit at McCurdy's. You better not tell McCurdy's. They're gonna want to come. By the way, that quality was bomb. He filmed this whole special, opening up for me, and this shit looks amazing, dude. Did you ask McCurdy's about that?
No, I did that
By the way,
literally last minute.
you filmed that shit in the whitest city in the world. What part of Florida was that shit? Fucking Sarasota.
Sarasota.
Hello, Nathan. Vaughn's down there. Damn, this is the nicest club. The bombest green room. You know you had a good weekend.
Yeah,
You're about to
that's a
lose your
great
fucking
club.
cook. It is a great club. You better not let the people organizing the cookout let you know you filmed that, because that shit. But by the way, watch his special. It's hilarious, and the production value is great. That's what McCurdy's is like ahead of it because they put in their own system, so they can take clips, they give it to the comics, which is beautiful, and we can put them on the internet. Helps the club, helps the comic. I mean, it was awesome, right?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Uh, all right, man. Well, thank you for doing this. Listen, everybody, check out Vaughn, check out me. We're trying this. You know, everybody, be cool, keep talking, but keep listening. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.